Veer Sambhudan Phonglo. A great freedom fighter of the Dimasa, whose name is worthy to be written in letters of gold, in the annals of Indian history. Written by Dr. Drabahojai. A true story of bravery, patriotism and perseverance of Sambhudan Phonglo, one of the greatest warriors of the Dimasa Kacharis, should be flag-marked in annals of the 19th century Indian history. He was synonymous with Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose as far as the North Kashmir Hills, now Dima Hasao, district is concerned. Like Netaji, Sambhudan Phonglo was a great nationalist, patriot, defender and a spiritual aspirant of the Dimasa nation. He fought against the tyranny, petty policies of divide and rule, and above all in order to free the nation from British rule. Like many great men, Veer Sambhudan Phonglo was born at dawn, on an auspicious day of Falgun Purnima, full moon day, in 1850 in the tiny village of Lonkar, near Maibang, in Dima Hasao district of Assam. His father was Diprandal Phonglo, and mother Kasaidi, who begot 5 sons. In the great Indian epic Mahabharata, the 5 Pandava brothers, who were on the side of Dharma, righteousness, defeated the 100 Kauravas brothers, who were on the side of Adharma, unrighteousness, in the bloodiest battle of Kurukshetra, 3,500 years ago. According to the law of Dharma, Sri Krishna was compelled to advent to this planet as a Mahasambhuti, to destroy the Kauravas. This was the Leela, cosmic game, of Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Likewise, Sambhudan, eldest brother, Umakant, Ramakant, Ramcharan, alias Ramran, and Hai Sholong, youngest brother, in chronological order. The 5 brothers born to their parents in Dima Hasao was a symbolic cosmic arrangement of Bhagwan, or God. The movements of Sambhudan Phonglo, from childhood to manhood, chose his restlessness with a cosmic purpose. He spent his childhood at Longkar, then moved over to Ganjung, then Sauprat, a small village near Nanadisa, then to Semkar village, near River Mahar, now in Maibang subdivision. Semkar, unlike the conventional Dimasa villages, which are located near the rivers at the foothills, is on the top of a hill, just like the Naga villages. It's still a majestic village just like a Red Indian village, natives of America. Once in the late 80s, I and the noted documentary film director of international repute, Gautam Bora, trekked to Semkar from the suburbans of Maibang. He was so captivated by the scenic beauty of Semkar from afar that he still wants to do a documentary on the village Semkar. The village was built as a fortress by the Dimasa king, in order to drive away the Naga headhunters from Naga Hills, who used to attack the Jaimi Nagas and take away the Jaimi heads as trophies. The Dimasa king also stationed the Kukis on the other side, that is the Boreal Ranges, to drive away the Naga headhunters. Late Desan Dahojai, founder of North Kachar Hills District Council, used to say that the relationship between Dimasas and the Jaimi Nagas was greater than the relationship between Nagas of Nagaland and the Jaimi Nagas. Intercaste marriages between Dimasas and Jaimis, at that point of time was allowed. The Samchas, the inhabitants of Semkar village, is a living example of such a unique crossbreed. Of course further research in history is required. They are culturally akin to the Jaimis, and can speak Jaimi dialect with equal fluency, and the Jaimis could also speak Dimasa language. Samchas worship the Samdikar, the natural saltwater spring, on the foothill which they consider as Chandi, goddess Kali. The Samchas were warriors, and only 5 Dao Gosang Fongs, warrior clans, are present in Semkar till today, viz. Phonglo Dao Ga, Langta Dao Ga, Sengyang Dao Ga, Haflong Bar Dao Ga, and Tao Sen Dao Ga. These 5 clans constitute the Samchas. Senya Sambhudan Phonglo had his original roots in this village. He married Nasadi, while in Semkar. Sambhudan Phonglo learnt the art of warfare while in Semkar. After Semkar, Sambhudan shifted to Dihar Phonglo village, which was on the bank of the river Mahar, Diung. The village was named after Sambhudan Phonglo. Through verbal history, it is said Sambhudan was very tall, handsome with very strong physique, He had relatively large eyes. His complexion was fair. His journey from childhood to manhood were journeys in experiments in warfares, unity of the society and geography of the land, which he had realized would be necessary for survival of the Dimasa Kachari race. The British had annexed southern Cachar in 1832. However, the northern Cachar was under the reign of Tularam Senapati, a great Dimasa general. Northern Cachar consisted of the whole of North Cachar Hills, parts of Mikir Hills, now Karbi Anglong, and southern parts of Nogon district, and South Naga Hills. Dobaka, now in Nogon, was a jail for convicts set up by the Dimasa king, however, couldn't subdue Tularam Senapati, who had ruled over northern Cachar. However, the British in 1854 annexed northern Cachar after the death of Senapati, Tularam. The British then included northern Cachar with the district of Nogon in the Brahmaputra Valley, central Assam, the policy of divide and rule. The territory was then placed under the charge of a junior political officer, with headquarters at Usalu subsequently, in 1866. This territory was sliced away and added to the neighboring district of Nogon and Naga Hills. Thus, while parts of the Diyang Valley and the Kopili Valley was given to the district of Nogon, a large portion of northern Cachar was joined to the newly created district of Naga Hills. The rest formed the territory of the North Cachar Hills comprising the hilly region. Thus, instead of joining the northern Cachar with southern Cachar, northern Cachar was torn into three pieces, major part of Nogon, the Naga Hills and North Cachar Hills. Sambudin Phonglo was not happy with the divide and rule policy of the British, which was intended to weaken the Dimasas, natives of the land. His mind as usual was restless at such adharma, unrighteousness, of the British. There was a storm in Sambudin's mind. The British division of the Dimasa nation into four pieces was unacceptable to him. The Dimasa people and other natives of the region should be free from the British Raj. He pondered over the matter, and took the view that, if the native people were losing their freedom, then they should not help foreign power to consolidate its position in our land. This was slavery. The people of the land must regain their freedom. It was better to die for the freedom than to lead a life of slavery. Sambudin, therefore, decided to go fight for freedom. He observed that though the British had annexed the territory, they could not conquer the heart of the native people. He therefore considered that everything was not already lost. He resolved to prepare for a last-ditch battle. Sambudin toured extensively in the North Cachar Hills for organizing the rebellion. He succeeded in inspiring the villagers to raise their voice against the British. He was able to recruit a large number of youths to form revolutionary force. From among his followers, he selected two, Moan Singh and Malong Thon. He appointed Moan Singh as principal advisor, and Malong Thong, a subordinate commander under him. When he found that he had succeeded in enrolling a sufficient number of youths, he decided to impart them training in batches at a selected place. The Mahur Valley where his village Semkur was situated was a convenient place for establishment of his training center. Sambudin was a spiritual aspirant and used to practice Vidya Tantra, spiritual sadhana or meditation, as had been taught by Lord Shiva to his disciples 7,000 years back. From the insight of his spiritual powers, Sambudin preferred Maibang. Villagers came forward voluntarily and rendered their services to the training center. While at Mahur, the recruited youths were living scattered here and there, in their own villages. But after his establishment at Maibang, they were brought to the training center in batches, each batch consisting of 30 to 40, for training at a time. More new youths came voluntarily at the center and offered themselves to join the revolutionary force. The increasing activities of Sambudin had caused a great concern for the British government. When the matter was reported, the British authorities advised the subdivisional officer, stationed at Gunjuang, to deal with firm hands on the charge of revolting against the British government. As advised, the subdivisional officer issued summoned Sambhudan and his subordinates, Man Singh and Malong Thong, but they did not care to appear before the British officials. On further advice from the Deputy Commissioner, a warrant of arrest was issued by the subdivisional officer and he dispatched a police party under a police officer for apprehension of the rebels. The subdivisional officer had, however, made a mistake by sending a small contingent of 6 armed constables under a police officer, who after arrival at Maibang, got really bewildered to see the size and strength Sambhudan had acquired, and that the latter had already built a large village of his followers. The officer failed to execute the order as he felt himself not well equipped with. However, no violence was offered to the bearers of the warrant, but a letter written by Man Singh, on dictation by Sambhudan, was handed over to them and they were ordered to leave Maibang at once. On their return to Gunjung, the police handed over the letter to the subdivisional officer. The letter had warned the British not to venture into fight with the Dimases or else the British soldiers would be killed. The police officer, while handing over the letter to the subdivisional officer, gave him a full account of the situation at Maibang, under Sambhudan. He had organized his own army by extensively traveling in the erstwhile kingdom. He was an expert in guerrilla warfare and was widely revered among the Dimases and other tribes alike. The British officers, headed by Major Boyd, who attacked his camp on 13 January, 1882, in Maibang didn't return alive. The British headquarters in Gunjung was completely annihilated by him and he was known to be so strong, that he slaughtered 2 horses of the British at one go. Consequently, the news of his growing threat became a headache for the British Empire. The British bribed a woman who befriended his wife, and on one such visit to his home, he was surrounded by the British army. The women had taken away his machete, as has been ordered by them in his absence. He had to cut through the army with one of the rusty machete, was eventually hunted down by the British in the deep jungle as the creepers made it difficult for him to escape. During his escape he was injured by a kokri, thrown by a Nepali army, and subsequently died of his wounds on 12 February, 1883. That is why Veer Sambhudan Phonglo is recognized as a great freedom fighter and a hero by the Dimases. The spirit of patriotism, infused to the people of North Cachar Hills, had shaken the British crown. The Government of India should therefore give him due recognition as a great freedom fighter and true patriot of Bharatvarsha. Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe our YouTube channel, HD Half Long Display. Jutai.